I want to talk about the problem with them giving employees what they want.
Yes. Yeah, so I read this article, and that was the title in Inc. magazine. We're going to talk a little bit about the article, but it really got me thinking about the different types of employees. And there's a few different ways to look at this. And so I'm going to back up and really start at the beginning. And one of the things that is important to understand in this whole concept is a thing called the arrival fallacy. Once you get to a certain spot, you're going to be totally happy and you've achieved everything and you're done, right? But this doesn't work.
It never happens. No, you want more. Yeah.
Yes, you always want more. It's really and as I got to thinking about this, our whole concept of systems over goals really pertains to this because it's the journey, which is the system that you're developing that you created. That's what brings you long-lasting satisfaction, because as you work and build things in your personal life, your business, your, everything, those are the things that you're going to use over and over as you achieve different things. You build your talent stack over time.
Yeah.
So understanding that arrival fallacy, it really pertains to your employees as well, right? It's this false belief that reaching a valued destination can sustain happiness. Right.
Okay. All right. I like this arrival fallacy. Okay. Yeah.
So we start there as our base. And the thing about it is, in this Inc. magazine article, it was a company talking about, hey, should we open up offices again and bring people back in, come back to work, or do we just keep working remotely? And we did an episode of a similar question, I think last year. And in this case, this company they first started and asking the employees, what do you want? And they were shocked because all the employees talked about how great the office was and the camaraderie and the lunchroom and the things and the interactivity and everything. But when the founders started thinking about it, people are sitting like in their cubes with their headphones on, and the break room's always a mess, and they're not doing this, and they're not collaborating like this, and they're not happy having to commute into the office, this kind of thing. And what it turned out was what people were responding to and what they wanted was like a fantasy of what office life could be, not the actual reality, looking at the pros and cons. And
even though they had already experienced the reality, they had repainted it into the fantasy after.
And I think all of us.
We do. And you remember, I mean, that's a defense mechanism, right? I've always said, if you remembered what it was like for the first couple of months at home with a newborn, you would never, ever have another second. The second child would never happen, but it does often. So,
Yes. That's why your parents tell you were such a great baby, because they don't remember.
They forget. Well, my parents actually remember how terrible I was, but that's okay.
But so this concept they realize that because they're like, wait, these people don't show up for the meeting, or this person doesn't even do this or that.
Yeah.
So in this particular instance, they flipped the script and they decided to present the pros and cons of an office space, the costs, the commute, all these other issues, and they asked a very different question. Instead of what do you want, they asked, what would you decide in this situation
if they were managing the business?
Yes.
Oh.
What would you decide? Because it introduces a whole different level of ownership, right?
Yeah.
Instead of, it's somebody else's decision, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, because they were trying to explain, look, these are the costs associated with opening up the offices again. Well, if we don't do that, we could do other things with that money, right? Hire more people, lessen the burden, add more perks, or change things, or increase our marketing and maybe grow the company. So they flipped the script and presented it that way. And they got very, very different answers, because people had, they analyzed it in a whole different manner, and they decided not to open their offices again. Right.
Fascinating.
We'll link this article. Yeah.
It makes, as you present it this way, it makes perfect sense, right? Because we think we know what we want, but putting yourself in the mindset of having to make the decision changes things dramatically.